Um, okay, so, um, I had to read up on something before I did this because it directly, it directly plays into what I'm going to be talking about. So, the opioid crisis, where people are using, prescribed medicines in excessive amounts and they are dying from it. And it's now September 29th, 2021. My mother died on June 12th, 2021, a little over roughly 3.5 months ago, due to the opioid crisis. And I see no president taking, well, I shouldn't say no president because this is my sole situation. I don't see Biden doing anything to address that. Like, what are you doing to address the opioid crisis to stop that from happening to other people? What was Obama and Trump doing? What was Bush doing? Well, I don't know if it goes back as far as Bush, but I think it probably started popping up in late in Obama's second term or in the middle of it. What have these guys been doing to stop the opioid crisis, to make prescription meds not harder to get, but safer to get? My mother, in the span of 6 days, was prescribed 340 meds, high dosage. Why? What? That does not sound like a regular amount. Sure, every month, once a month, you get prescribed maybe 120. I talked to a doctor, he said that could be a possibility. But 320 plus in 6 days? What the fuck? Who and why do you need that? 9 days before my mom passed away on June the 3rd, I believe it was, one of my brother's old friends, drug addict, showed up. High off his mind, apparently. I don't know. I didn't see him. My mom woke me up and said, call 911. And then he was threatening, I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to beat your son up. As soon as he said that, I got a knife, but he was already out the door, and I was waiting for him by the door. I was ready to kill him. Mostly out of anger because I was pissed off that I was woken up, because at that point I had no sleep and I just laid down for 20 minutes. So I was tired and I was angry. After that, my mom calls her doctor. Hey, he stole my meds. After she passed away, we found her meds. They were never stolen. She hid them in her drawer. And when the coroner came by to check her out, the police came out with a big brown bag full of prescription meds. So the day she passed away, it was a regular day. I'm sorry, I don't have details of it. I don't remember it. I have trouble remembering exactly what I was doing other than right before June 12th. I'm going to assume I was getting ready for college, because at that point I started in 8 days. I was most likely doing something throughout the day. I was probably playing Xbox. But I remember before I laid down, it was, I laid down at like 4 o'clock and I woke up at like 8:30 because I woke up for some reason. And my mom came and we were living in an apartment at that time. She was saying, yeah, I found this house. I'm thinking of renting it. We can move into a house again, because at that point we were in an apartment for 2 years. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, all right. She was like, all right, you go online, check it out. I'll send you the address and all that. Or she told me the address. I was like, yeah. I honestly can't remember if we said I love you to each other, or if she probably would have just said, all right, go back to bed. And I would have been like, yeah. That's the last conversation I had with my mom. We talked about a new house. and I woke up at 10:30. Okay, 10:30. I had to go to the bathroom. I was having stomach issues. I was in the bathroom till 11:15, so I was in there for about 45 minutes. And I noticed her light was on, so I was knocking. I was like, "Hey, Mom, turn off your light," because this was a regular occurrence where she'd fall asleep with her lights on, or she'd fall asleep standing up in her room, or leaning on her bed, or on the floor. Okay. So I picked the lock because I was like, okay, no response, lights off. I'm gonna pick the lock and then just turn the light off. I open the door and she is laying on the ground where she's on her knees and her head's on the ground. Her arms are laying flat on the ground. I was like, huh, that's weird. But I didn't think nothing of it. I remember this clearly. I didn't think anything of it. I saw our baby cat at the time while he was about to turn 1. He was rolling around next to her. He didn't know what was going on. I didn't think anything was wrong until I touched my mom and her body was ice cold. At that moment, I was like, okay, what the fuck? I was shaking like, Mom. I got my dad. He flipped her over and she had puke coming out of her mouth. And when I saw that, I was like, fuck. And we called 911 and they worked on her for like an hour. And then the one cop came out and he was like, yeah, buddy, here's the deal. Your mom's gone. And I was like, fuck, okay. So I called all my friends, had them meet me, or the ones that could meet in person. I had them come over so I could explain the situation. I didn't cry in front of my friends. I know I did with my brother and my dad. But leading up to that situation, I heard reports. My dad, because my mom's old friend, actually set her up to get arrested by the police because my mom was trying to sell her prescription meds. My mom tried to sell prescription meds to an undercover officer. And I talked to different police officers about it in a different jurisdiction, different town, the town over, and they were like, yeah, she's getting arrested right off the bat for doing that. Where I was, she wasn't arrested. Nothing happened to her. And the only thing people can think of is like, oh, she had to be an informant. But I don't think my mom was. I just think my mom was trying to one-up people for meds because my mom did have an addiction. She suffered from it. I love my mom, though. So after the cops worked on her, I remember when me and my brother's wife, and my dad, we were allowed to see her body the next day. And it would have been cool if during that time she wasn't bleeding from the nose. She was ice cold. She was just stiff as a board. It was. I was the last one to leave. I stayed for a few extra minutes. I have her ashes right over there. She wanted to get cremated like her sister. And this is an unfortunate situation because the police had countless times to help her and get her help, and they never did. So hopefully people can use this video as awareness. I'm going to try to post it everywhere I can. Spread awareness for the opioid crisis and get police to do their fucking job. I blame the police. I blame the doctors for my mom dying, sure. If I checked on her right when I woke up, there was a small chance she probably could have been alive because me and my dad, we missed her by 10 minutes, I'd say. We don't know the time of death yet. That wasn't put on the certificate. We're waiting for the full one. We're waiting on her dad, my pop, to sign it over, but we barely missed her. We were close. But we would have never been in that situation if the doctors hadn't prescribed her 320 meds. Like, they didn't ask for proof of it being stolen or anything. They're just handing out meds. Because the cops told us, or not the cops, the coroner, we brought up what doctor she went to, and they were like, yeah, we've had some incidents from them. I blame the doctors and I blame the cops for not doing their job beforehand to arrest her and get her admitted for help. And I will take some of the blame as well for not asking enough what was wrong and missing her. But we spread awareness for this crisis. There are people out there literally dying. There are families crumbling because you guys don't want to do your job. So, like, please, like, level head, do something, like, fix your curriculum, please. Like, that's all I can really ask for.